Look, coach he tries to get the best out of everyone, and I truly feel like my best years were with him because I was kind of scared to let him down, and I think that's how a leader is, right? Um, but look, he's a proven winner. He's won a Super Bowl. We down in New Orleans, we should have had another one, but we won't approach that situation. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's a leader. He's a offensive guru. Guys want to win for him, and I think you guys have probably seen that out here throughout training camp. So I'm excited to be back here um, playing under him, and we'll go to work.
SaintsFootballTalk.com. Ellias J Williams. And I played that clip because it's important to note that a good head coach is like a good juicer. You give that juicer an orange and it will squeeze 12 ounces of juice from that orange. You give a subpar juicer that same orange and it may only get you 4 ounces of liquid. A good head coach can get the best out of a player. Anybody trying to tell you that the Saints need more talent is basically telling you he needs more oranges to get the same amount of juice that a good juicer would get with one orange. Kellen Moore is not a good head coach. He's a good coach, but he's not a good head coach. But every head coach was a good coach. Mike Tomlin is a good coach. He's also a good head coach. Sean Payton was a good coach. He's also a good head coach. Kellen Moore is a good coach. He's not a good head coach. So you can't get these insights from NewOrleansFootball.com. They're not going to give it to you like this. You can't get this from Boot Crew Media. They're not going to give it to you like this. You can't get this logic from Who That Confessional when I'm not on there. Because they're not going to give you the insights like this. Will Lutz was fearful of Sean Payton because that's what a paternal influence does. If you had a father when you were young, who did you want to look at you? Daddy, look at me. Watch me. You wanted to impress your father. You didn't want to disappoint your father. You didn't want to let down your father. Sean Payton had a paternal influence. That's why he's a successful head coach. There's no talent gap between Will Lutz and Blake Groupie. The difference is the juicer. Dennis Allen would have never gotten out of Will Lutz what Sean Payton was capable of getting out of Will Lutz. And neither is Kellen Moore. That's why you hear these weak arguments that he needs more talent. Give him more fruits. He'll give you more juice. And while that may be accurate, it still doesn't underscore the fact that he's requiring more to get something that a better juicer would get you with less. You want to know the response that a paternal influence would give you? Think about when Mike Tomlin was asked about what his response would be to a player if someone spit on him. And Mike Tomlin said, do what comes natural to you. That's a paternal response. asked about Blake Groupie, what did Kellen Moore say? We need to check on the operation. We need to make sure the operation, we need to. Sean Payton would have never said that. You know what if Sean Payton's response would have been right there in that moment? Since we obviously don't have someone that can do the job that we need them to do, we'll find somebody else. That's a paternal response. When Sean Payton looked at Will Lutz and pointed at that fleur-de-lis and said, I want you to kick it right down the middle, you know why Will Lutz hit that kick? Because Sean Payton inspired him. He didn't want to disappoint him. That's what a paternal influence does. And that's why the Saints are failing right now. It's not because they don't have enough oranges. Has nothing to do with talent. Kellen Moore isn't inspiring those guys to get the best out of them. Anytime Blake Groupie tells you he's hitting all of his kicks in practice, but he can't hit them in the game, because he doesn't fear missing. He doesn't mind disappointing Kellen Moore. You want to know why Mickey Loomis is to blame? Not this salary cap stuff. Everybody else is going to tell you this BS that they forget, because people forget that you were winning 14, 13, 12, 11 games a season off of those salary cap decisions. But people forget very fast. No, the reason Mickey Loomis is the issue is because when he went to hire Sean Payton, he chuckled at him. He laughed at him because he knew Sean Payton wasn't getting the job that he thought he was going to get. There was a competitive tension between Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis that inspired both of them because they didn't always see eye to eye on everything. And we need opposition to challenge us, to inspire us to be better. The difference between Sean Payton's relationship with Mickey Loomis versus the last two relationships is that Mickey Loomis was comfortable with Dennis Allen. He liked Dennis Allen's energy. He's comfortable with Kellen Moore. He likes Kellen Moore's energy. But neither of those coaches challenge him, and they don't challenge the players properly. That's why this team is trash. Not because they don't have enough talent. It's because they've been trotting out terrible juicers for the last 4 years. Now, you go any other podcast, they're not going to give you those insights. They're not going to pull this clip with Will Lutz explaining to you why Sean Payton got the best out of him. They're going to tell you it's an X's and O's. It doesn't take talent to go for it on 4th and 1 when you are a 8 or 2-win team. That takes balls. It doesn't take talent to see the opposing team's number 1 cornerback leave the game and get replaced with an undrafted free agent, and you don't send your number 1 receiver over there to attack him. That takes a killer instinct. I'm tired of hearing about Kellen Moore's the smartest person in the room. But you tried out Taysom Hill on 4th and 1 from an obvious shotgun pass and remove your best quarterback to have him throw the pass, and he hasn't thrown a pass in multiple weeks. That was your best decision? But it also mirrors the decision to have Chris Olave pretend to be a quarterback and throw it to the quarterback pretending to be a receiver, but you blame Olave for the interception, but not the coach for putting him in that position. You blame Taysom Hill for not selling the play, but not the coach for putting him in that decision or that position. Kellen Moore is a terrible head coach. Good coach, not a good head coach. SaintsFootballTalk.com. Hang with me. I'll give you the insights that nobody else talking about. Holla. EJW, you see it.